Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 209 of our Get Your Goals annual challenge. Today we are talking about step 4 of our relationship goal process, and that is strategies and plans. How do we apply strategies? What is our overarching strategy for achieving our most important relationship goal this year? And what are some plans? What are some things we need to set in place and set in motion? Things we plan to do, stuff we plan to try that may or may not work to achieve that goal and objective. Now, I am doing the relationship with my granddaughter, so I might give a couple examples from that. But first, I want to mention a couple of things. Number one, we all have things that feel best to us, things that feel right to us in terms of what matches up with our core values and what matches up with our identity. And we need to make sure that our strategies, and we want to be pushing our comfort zone to be continuously improving, but we also have to be true to what is core and most important to us as we're selecting any strategy or as we are making plans and then implementing those plans for any area and aspect of our life, but especially when it comes to relationships. I find this is one of my overarching strategies. It says, no one is you, and that is your superpower. Being myself is one of my core values and core strategies. Now, it wasn't always, but following my sudden cardiac arrest in 2010, I had an epiphany that part of why I had that sudden cardiac arrest was because I was making choices and doing things to please other people. And I'm not a people pleaser, don't get me wrong, but that I thought was right, but they weren't necessarily my core beliefs and thoughts of what was right. And so I was making decisions and choices that didn't always feel right and best for me, and that caused a lot of internal conflict and stress, resulting in a sudden cardiac arrest. So, and of course there was a whole lot more going on to that. I could write an entire book about that. But let's talk about this. Our action item today is to devise an overarching strategy, or to have a strategy, and then key plans. That's why we talked about steps yesterday. What are some of the key steps we need to take to go from our current situation to our desired situation? Our current situation with respect to this particular relationship, and what we really want that relationship to be like. So what are some steps we can take? I want to take a sip of coffee. And what do we need to do to come up with a strategy? Number one, we want to ask ourselves, what kind of strategies have worked for us in the past? What kind of strategies do we get the best results from? Now, in softer areas of our life, like relationships and spirituality and emotions, how do we find a process or a strategy that works for us? I did a little search in the Get Up and Go annual challenge, not Get Up and Go annual challenge, the Get Up and Go challenge private Facebook group, and I got 24 different results on strategy. So if you need more examples of strategy for this area as well as other areas and aspects of your life, just go to the group. It's a private Facebook group, so if you haven't joined it yet, just join it. Answer the questions. Basically, there's 3 questions in order to make sure that we're not going to spam the group. So far, there's been 0 spam in that group. I think a couple people have tried to get in, but I haven't let them, because it's a private group for a reason. It's our safe space to communicate and share our homework and share different things. So there were actually 24 results. I've actually got it pulled up on my computer that came up with respect to strategy. So there's plenty of information in that group to help supplement anything we talk about, or the write-up in Guide 17. Remember, Guide 17, starting February 1st, been using ChatGPT to get more specific, and you have a write-up to go along with the video. So steps to devise a strategy and a plan. Number one, set specific objectives. What are the big things I want to achieve between now and the end of the year with my granddaughters and my relationship with my granddaughters? Then I'm going to prioritize those actions, and in certain areas of our life, it matters what comes before another step. My kids are doing a big project right now, and it matters what step you do first, second, third, and fourth for part of the project, right? Most projects are like that. This building a relationship with my granddaughters and improving a relationship with my granddaughters, there isn't really, especially since one's under 1 and one's 2, there isn't a specific order in which I need to do many of these things, but I want to try to prioritize the things that are most important to me and us, and then the things that are less important or less urgent I will put them at a lower priority. We want to break down the plans into actionable steps. And part of that is what we talked about yesterday. What are the big key steps that need to happen in order to go from our current to our desired situation? And part of that is, if I say I'm going to spend quality time with each of my granddaughters every week, that's an objective. But now how do I break that down into plans and make that actionable steps that I can do and communicate and make sure it happens? Then we want to allocate resources and time. If I want to improve my relationship with anyone, it usually involves time, right? And not necessarily so many resources as it does the time to devote and the attention to devote to that relationship. We want to remember, as we're implementing our strategy, to communicate and collaborate with the person we're in a relationship with or people we're in a relationship. We want to overcome challenges, because I guarantee there's going to be challenges to achieving our goals and objectives in any area and aspect of our life. It's just inherent. And if we learn to embrace change, get curious about change and challenges, and learn from them, life is a whole lot more fun and a whole lot easier than if we're resisting change and we're pushing against things and we're upset about every little challenge that comes our way. And then, of course, excuse me, we're going to track and adjust our plans and strategies as necessary. Because guess what? I guarantee the strategy I come up with today is not going to be the one that gets me over the finish line at the end of the year. It's a first best guess at what I need to do. I laugh when I think of creating business plans and strategies for different businesses over the decades that I've been involved in business, because they're always wrong, right? We give it our best guess. It's like what if scenarios. We make our best estimated predictions of what's going to happen, but I don't think they hardly ever go according to plans. And as soon as you print your best guess, something in your environment has changed, making your plan sometimes obsolete, sometimes just needs little tweaks and adjustments, but almost always wrong. The same is going to happen here. We're going to have to be flexible in how we go about implementing our strategy. So, action item. What's your strategy for achieving your relationship goal by the end of the year? And then what are some plans to make sure that that happens? And what can we start doing today? What's one thing we can do today to put those plans and that strategy into effect? Share in the comments below. Any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow.